Welcome back to Central News. Before the break we talked about the initial stages of getting your book started. Now we have some programs and what your next step is. Maria, what are some programs that you have coming up this year that could really help people in all stages of putting their manuscript together?
Well, we have a couple of things happening throughout the year which will be repeated, and that is doing webinar training to help people to understand the process of A, B, C and all the way through to X, Y and Z, and they will be featured regularly on our website. But one program in particular that we're doing this year, which was a repeat of last year, is an awesome authority program where I'm pulling together 20 authors from around Australia and New Zealand, and we're putting a book together called 2020, A Fresh Look at Business Inspiration, and that book will be featuring 15 authors who have not previously written books, alongside of 5 who are very much at the top of the game in that particular area, and their chapters will all feature in the book, and they'll write 2,000 words each, and which gives them a really good chance to start and see how it works. And that's coupled with some really intensive work with me one-on-one and some training around, you know, what happens in the book industry, and once your book's done, what do you do with it, and all that sort of thing. So we're pretty excited about that. That's launching next month.
What sort of results and feedback do you get from the people that partake in these courses?
Well, for one thing, they get to be part of a book that's launched internationally, so they understand that their name goes with other people who are also promoting them and their book and their material. But also, they understand the process from the beginning to the end once they've gone through this process. So if they think, look, I'd really like to put some information out there, they get to see how it all works bit by bit by bit, right to the very end. And the feedback that we've had has been fantastic. Several of them are quite motivated to start their own books and do a lot more in that area. I also work with them to help them develop their speaking skills and their marketing overall, so they get quite a lot of motivation to sort of get their expertise out into the marketplace, which is really helpful. And as I say, I've got several books on the go from just the group that were in the program last year, and they're sort of firing away on all 10 cylinders, making their own, you know, individual books happen this year.
How can co-authoring or perhaps writing a chapter in a book be a really good step?
Well, it takes the heat off having to write your own book from the very start, which when it's your first book, that's often a really good idea. But also if you're with someone else who has already written books and is already well perceived or highly regarded in the industry that you're wanting to be involved in, then, you know, you get to be able to say, look, I'm, you know, up and coming and, you know, of the same quality of information that I deserve to be in a book that's co-authored with top people. So it's a very good boost to most authors to actually be able to do that.
So it's a really wise move.
Very much so, yes. If you can do that in the beginning stages of your career as an author, that's a very wise thing to do.
So what other services do you provide that could really boost someone's writing career?
Well, we provide everything from mentoring right through the manuscript process, right through to book shepherding, from manuscript to editing to design to launch to marketing and then distribution, plus anything in between really. So we have quite a number of programs that are listed on our website at Maruki Books, and people basically are recommended to come and talk to me when they're at the very beginning stages so that we can work out what's best for them. And my mission really is to help them avoid a lot of the expensive learning curves that are out there for authors.
So why is it a really good step to get that mentor?
Well, because a lot of people think, I'll just write a book and then I'll take it off to a publisher or to a printer and voila, my book will be written. It's so much more complicated than that. When you know what the pitfalls are and what the process is, then it just short circuits everything. And most authors find themselves completely frustrated with how it all works out when they haven't had some guidance from someone who knows how it works.
So as soon as they've got that idea they want to write a book, they should see someone such as yourself.
Yes, and you know, it doesn't cost anything to have a conversation about what your plans are, so find out what you need to know about where to from here before you get too much into it, because sadly some authors will start a manuscript and they'll write it and they'll realise after the fact that they should have actually been working with someone at the beginning, even just for some general advice, just to make sure that they're not wasting a lot of time writing things that are irrelevant, or that it's too highbrow, or that it's not simple enough, or that they've covered the right amount of information. So actually working with someone, even an editor, and a good book editor, not someone who perhaps edits newsletters, but a good editor of books is really important to connect with as well, and a book shepherd can help you do that.
So what is a book shepherd? Because you've mentioned it a bit in these past couple of sessions.
A book shepherd is someone who understands the publishing cycle from beginning to end and everything that goes into the development of a book, from manuscript to, or from idea to authority, which is what we call our programs. So from idea to authority, there are so many parts of it. If you work with a shepherd, they understand how you go from point A to point B to point C, all the way to X, Y and Z, without missing the bits that you need to be aware of, or without overlooking or undervaluing some of the parts that you need to be focusing on at the times that you need to do it. So a shepherd is someone who kind of takes the author from point A to Z.
So what's the next step for the beginner who has been inspired over the summer holidays?
Give me a call, and especially if it's non-fiction. I don't actually work in areas like children's books or novels, but if it's non-fiction and they've got some information and they really want to get that information out to the world to enhance their career in other ways, then talk to someone like myself, find us on our website, have a look at what services we offer, and arrange just to have a conversation about what they could and should be doing, and what the time frames are, and what the costs are involved, and what they need to be thinking about doing first and second and third.
Cool, thanks Maria for coming on the show and giving us some insight as to what it takes to write a book.
Thanks, Katrina.
There's Maria Carlton there. After the break, what is the future of kiwifruit since the PSA outbreak?